Russian-made motorcycle. Safety is always important, especially if you ride motorcycle, obviously. Because if, God forbid, you fall by riding on the asphalt, within 10 yards you have no skin on your bones if you don't have proper protection. I think it is too loud. We can talk about this later because this terrible environment. In Germany, such a noise level, police would be immediately here usually. No way somebody would be allowed to work such instruments which are so loud. It is allowed sometimes to make noise, but it is restricted to working days where people usually rest is no go. Yes, today we are at beautiful Cherry Creek reservoir. Look at this sky, look at this weather. This motorcycle has a history. It goes back to World War II. But first, let me tell you my personal history. I'm connected to it. I was born in Soviet Union. One thing I definitely remember, my dad, he used to drive us, me and my sister, the school. So I was sitting on legs of my sister, I was smaller. And sometimes I think my mom even in the back, because this motorcycle can take 3 adults. So we were sitting in the sidecar with my sister. In Soviet Union, there were all over those motorcycles. And so people who would not be able to afford a car, they would buy this motorcycle. It is a beautiful machine, really art, piece of art. Ural, it's called. It has a reason, obviously, why it's called this way. The Ural Mountains, which divide Europe from Asia. When Germany invaded and overran France in 1940, army generals were shocked because the Germans were able to neutralize basically one of the strongest, if not the strongest, or considered to be the strongest army in the world, the French army. One of the reasons is this motorcycle. Without infantry support, the tanks cannot function. So the tank, yes, it can go fast and break through some defense, but then it needs support. And so the problem was that the tanks were much faster than the infantry, which was walking. The motorized infantry, how it's called in Russian, motostrelki, it was actually, the Germans were the first one who used this, were open cars where soldiers just went in and drove. This was the answer to the problem that the infantry is not as fast as the tanks. So the Germans produced almost 100,000, if I'm not wrong, and they placed the infantry soldiers on those very easy, cheap, fast machines, all-terrain vehicles, to enable the Blitzkrieg. I had actually a patient, he was then 92, so an older gentleman, and I did some work on him, and he has seen this, he began to cry. So he was in a D-Day, 44 it was, just before end of World War II. He was one of the parachuters. So they landed right on top of this German group of motorcyclists, and they had mounted here a machine gun. So here where the camera is now, they mounted here a machine gun. And I didn't know this. He told me that no, the trigger for the machine gun was not here where the second soldier was sitting. The trigger was here. This gentleman, many of his comrades died because they landed right there, a couple miles off the target. And all of them, almost all of them, were just nailed by the German motorcyclists. What happened when the Germans invaded Soviet Union in winter '41? The Soviet Union has packed together several thousands plants and moved them to the Ural Mountains, because the Germans then they didn't have the long-range bombers. So they moved all the production, main production was moved from the European war theater to the Ural Mountains. And so Stalin then learned about the German success, that this is the toy. So he said, copy this. That's why the name Ural. U, 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 R, A, and L. Ural.